So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Welcome back to the eye test. It's myself, Lyés, and my boy CultureCams.
Yes.
And today, we got some news this week that another inductee has been voted into the Premier League Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And that is, of course, Ashley Cole. So I thought, look, first of all, round of applause to a Premier League great, a footballing great, one of the best in his position that I think we have ever seen. Forget about just in England, but period. And I thought, look, as it is that we do on this show, we like to give people their flowers. We like to kind of talk about the more unspoken bits of the game. And Ashley Cole, being a left back as well, doesn't always kind of get talked up in maybe the conversation that he always should be. So what better place to do that than here?
It's going to be a fun episode. And first, I want to say, big shout out to everybody that's been watching. So far, bro, the comments have been unreal. Everyone's appreciating how we're trying to give it a little bit of a different spin to what we see out there in the game at the moment. So yeah, man, let's get into this.
Especially international break, right?
Dry period.
Yeah, forget about dry. I wish it was a dry period, bro. Yeah. The internet becomes a cesspit of just everybody now all of a sudden has access to Wikipedia. Some of the stuff I was seeing this week, bro.
Oh my
boy, the day that Ashley Cole gets inducted, we're talking about
random
who
stuff.
Did my man score against? Come on, bro.
No, I mean, look, that's just the way the internet is. We always say no player is safe these days, but
none.
One thing I always say is that no player is perfect. And you can't have the perfect career. I think I've mentioned it a few times. I think Messi's the only player I've ever seen have a perfect career. And I'm even talking about this guy was winning under 17 World Cups, Olympic. There's nothing that
but you weren't safe until last year, bro. They before the World Cup.
He wasn't safe. Exactly. We were talking about he hasn't won it. He can't be compared to Maradona and all this type of stuff. So he's the only person I can really say that is nearly faultless. You know what I mean? But even then, you can dive into certain moments. If you were to go into microscope every single person's career, you could stretch on in this 5-year period after the treble, he didn't score this many. Anyone can be slandered, really. So I always say, let's just appreciate the game, see the players that are. You have to notice quality, and if you notice quality, then everything else is just a bunch of waffle to me. You know what I mean?
Speaking of quality, man, Ashley Cole, boy. Is he the one player really, when you're kind of making a Premier League all-time 11?
Yeah. Is
he the most surefire bet to get into that team?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I've seen very few modern fans, they're putting in Andrew Robertson. I've seen a little shouts like that. You know, maybe the older heads, though, might say Dennis Irwin. But I do think it's mainly common consensus that Ashley Cole is the best Premier League left back. And you're talking about right back nowadays. I mean, I remember growing up, it was always seen as Gary Neville, but now people throw Ivanovic, people say Trent, people say Walker. Centre back, that's always going to be a debate. VVD, Ferdinand, Terry, whatever. People have all their assumptions. So when you're looking at it, I definitely think left back is probably, if there was going to be a voting system, I think 90% would have
he'd get
Ashley
the most
Cole.
votes.
Yeah, he would have 90%. Ashley Cole would be in. The rest, I mean, you saw what the internet was doing today. It was doing Thierry Henry. So
if Henry is not safe, no one's safe.
We don't even know if he'll make it anymore. But no, I think Ashley Cole is definitely the one. What do you think?
I think it has to be, man. Look, this guy has kind of when you're making a checklist of what a player has and what he doesn't have. I feel like, especially for English players, and especially for Premier League players, his career almost checks off everything. Consistency. I was doing some research just before the show just to make sure I got everything kind of on check. Bro, he was basically a starter for Arsenal at 20 years old.
Yeah.
So from 20 years old onwards, he was a stalwart in his position, whether it was for Arsenal, England, or Chelsea. So he has the consistency. He has the peak level in terms of being at one point probably considered universally the best left back, not just in the Premier League. People were arguing that he was the best left back in the world. So he has that as well too. He has the accolades, the trophies, Premier Leagues, FA Cups.
So most FA Cup wins.
He's one of two players to ever win the FA Cup and Premier League, I think, with two different clubs. Him and Anelka with Chelsea and Arsenal. He has the Champions League, which he went to go on and do at Chelsea. So, and I mean, especially when it comes to fullbacks, right, which is a position that's changed so much, right? When you look at the modern day fullback, we typically look at the numbers that they put up, the creativity that they kind of show. Trent has changed the game in that regard. But Cole came up in a time where being a fullback was all about looking at your opposite number and saying, hey, I'm locking you up today. You're barbecue chicken. he has put some of the best attackers and best wingers on toast in this league. Lock them up. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players of all time, bro. He's a GOAT. He's literally said he's the toughest opponent I've ever faced, bro. So like, he has everything, man.
That's the thing. I think like when you look at Ashley Cole, with what you're touching on, I think he's got the perfect level of maturity in his game. I mean, if you look at some players when they were 18 and you look at them when they're 30, they play the same way. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they're still doing the same things, and you're like, when are you actually going to mature in your game? You look at Ashley Cole when he came through. I was just saying that he was going forward more. He was more of an attacker now. He wasn't to the level of a Trent, I wouldn't say, or some of the fullbacks that we've seen, and Marcelo's and stuff. But he'll be able to get forward. He'll be able to throw, do the overlap. He'll be able to get beyond, whether it's Will Tord, whether it's Perez, whoever was playing on the left-hand side, he'll be able to get beyond them. But then later in his age, he just started maturing and started becoming that defender that you cannot get past. Bro. And I think that's the praise that people give to Kyle Walker in a way, how defensively he's gotten better over the years. I wouldn't even say Ashley Cole started bad defensively. He never did. He was always a solid defender. But he showed a different side to him. I think when you're talking about lockdown, we're talking about someone that was looking at Wan-Bissaka at times in terms of locking down 1v1. When you
talk about, right, a lot of people got onto our case when we were talking about pure football there when we did our first episode and said, can pure footballers only be like the attacking players? In a way, I believe so. But there is such a thing as a pure defender. Yeah. And Ashley Cole is almost as pure a defender as this country's produced. The footwork, the mentality, the fundamentals. He just defends at an elite level, bro.
And the thing is, like, it was not only that, like, Ashley Cole was never really a liability at the back post and stuff like that. He was just a ever
How many times, by the way,
player.
did we say Ashley Cole clear off the line?
Yeah, he's always there. He's got that knack for it. You know what I'm trying to say? He understands, he reads danger. Do you know what I mean? And I would say with Ashley Cole as well, it's like, you mentioned it. It's the consistent level. It's the consistent level of how he played. I watched pretty much all of his career. I can't even remember a season where I'm like, you are awful. Like, you are playing awful. I genuinely can't remember. He was always just felt like he was like a 7 out of 10. And I remember like when he went through the whole scandal with Cheryl Cole and it didn't throw him off his game.
Ever.
He was still at the top of his game. Like, he was still that guy. And listen, he did one of the things that maybe in the Premier League it's probably the closest. Actually, that'll be Sol Campbell, but maybe let's say second closest to the Figo situation, what happened in Real Madrid in terms of how he left Arsenal to go to Chelsea.
Where do you sit on
I understand Ashley Cole's point of view. Obviously, if it's common knowledge that now that debate is over 5K, right? He wanted 5K more. Arsenal didn't want to give him the 5K. It was a different time back then, by the way, for people. So we laugh at 5K now. Back then, it was a lot of money them times. You know what I mean? But I'm 50-50 with it because going to Chelsea is not what I'm about. It's the meeting Jose Mourinho in a cafe.
Mourinho was tapping up before
before it was a thing that, come on. That's the side where I think Arsenal fans should be mad. Like, in terms of what he did, Arsenal fans should be angry at Arsenal, in terms of how they handled it. But in terms of how Ashley Cole went about it, he didn't go about it the right way. You shouldn't. You can't be doing it that way.
And Ashley Cole was really, unless I'm mistaken here, the first of what would go on to become many people that would leave Arsenal, really at the peak of their career as well too, to join a rival. I think he was the first one to do it.
As in, Sol Campbell.
No, but he joined I'm saying left Arsenal.
Oh, left Arsenal.
He was the first person to leave Arsenal at the peak of his career.
Oh, in the peak?
To go to a rival as well, too. Because
at
that point, I think his last season was 05-06 when they went to the Champions League final. Vieira had left for Juventus, but even he was kind of getting over the hill.
Yeah.
He was kind of the first, and then you would go on to see Van Persie, you'd go on to see Nasri, Adebayor. Fabregas, to be fair, he went to Barcelona. Clichy.
Oh, you're talking about
go to direct rivals. Because it's one thing you leave Arsenal to go to a big club. Or no, I don't want to say a big club, because Chelsea were a big club, but to go abroad, to go play for Juventus, that's one thing. But to leave Arsenal to go join a rival at the time, we've obviously gone to see 10 years evidence of like, okay, big players leaving Arsenal to go to other clubs. And it's kind of shown, it's kind of like exposed how Arsenal were kind of on the decline at that point financially as well too. But when Ashley Cole did it, no one had really done it before. And okay, 5K is 5K, but does Ashley Cole leave Arsenal over 5K if he's 100% confident that the club is still investing what they should be investing, buying the top players, and still in a position to compete really at the top of the league?
I mean, I think it's a similar situation to when Wayne Rooney started questioning Manchester United's ambition. Do you know what I mean? Like, we end up having to pay over the odds to keep 100%. Him. But I do think it is a similar situation. Vieira, as you mentioned, Vieira left. And you can see it was getting towards the... Henry get put down a classic season. But his age was getting there. It was starting to come. Robert Pires, it was starting to come to the end of him. Freddie Ljungberg, Sol Campbell. We can go through it. That Arsenal team started to age, which is why Wenger completely drastically went young, you know what I mean, with his team. So I do agree with that. Especially, listen, again, I lived through that time, right? Chelsea were so attractive. Bro.
You know hold on. Do you know the summer Chelsea bought him? Do you know who else they bought that summer?
Yep. They that was the summer they bought Ballack.
Yeah.
And they bought Shevchenko.
And they had just won the league 2 years in a row.
Was that the same season? Yeah, it was the same season.
United lost Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah. No, wait. So Ashley Cole went to Chelsea 06-07, right? Yeah, they signed her.
So listen, can you imagine? I'm trying to think like that moment.
Let me tell you. Go
ahead.
Thank you, bro. I remember that moment. Listen, I'm telling you now, right?
Paint the picture for us.
Let me paint the picture. So I remember, first of all, let's talk about when Jose Mourinho came. 04-05, 05-06, right? So 04-05, you see I'm the special one, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember they beat us, Man United, right? Johnson, 1-0, first game of the season. I remember that. And then I was like, okay, cool. Whatever. It started getting scary. Chelsea did what they did. You're like, okay, champions. Fair enough. We moved. 05-06 comes. Again, we even get further away. I think we finished... No, that was season we finished second. They finished... The first season we finished third. But then you started feeling, okay, cool. Chelsea are going again. Now they get 90 points. They got that cold blue gold kit. Yo, listen, it was looking crazy. So then I'm like, all right, 2 back-to-back. I've never seen a back-to-back because Arsenal had never done it. I've never seen back-to-back. You're like, all right, cool. And then you go into the summer, Van Nistelrooy leaves, and you see Shevchenko, who... I don't think people know what Shevchenko
and guys,
was.
This is not with the hindsight of Shevchenko didn't end up working out. No, this was still Shevchenko at his best.
Shevchenko at his best. Maybe not at his best, but elite, he was still level, elite. Yeah. Michael Ballack. No, I don't think people know what Michael Ballack was. That's a player that one day we need to do a spotlight 100%. On. Michael Ballack. That was one of my favorite players at the time as well. I couldn't believe it.
Baller.
Came off a good World Cup, I'll say. And then Ashley Cole. And the way the Ashley Cole situation happened with the Gallas going the other way, the tapping up, I promise you, forget about what Man City are doing now. I have never said, oh, it's over. I was like, no, it's over. I was like, it's over, man. Like, I remember saying, my brother's a Chelsea fan. He was always buzzing about it. I remember saying to my brother, I do not think we will ever win a title again. I literally said that to my brother. I don't think we will ever win a title again, bro. And then, thank God, Ronaldo.
We won 3 in a row.
Literally. I couldn't believe, I swear to you,
Look, no, but I think you weren't wrong for thinking that, bro. You had a team that just basically didn't even just win the league 2 times in a row. Steamrolled it.
You know how everyone probably felt, the modern, like the young fans now that are like, let's say 10, whatever, they're 13, whatever. How they feel now when they saw Erling Haaland land at Man City is exactly how it was when I saw Ballack Shevchenko. When it's just like,
that's a crazy window.
It's just like, come on, man. Like, this isn't even fair, bro. This isn't fair. Because them times, bro, there weren't no FFP and man was splashing cash, bro. And so it was just a different feeling, man. But one thing I want to say about Ashley Cole, though, as well, is that it's important that people think about Ashley Cole in a way that you see back in the day how we talk about fullbacks. Yeah, now we talk about fullbacks as,
of course,
in a way we see fullbacks as either failed centre mids, or maybe they're centre mids that are at right back, or failed wingers that are at right back, right, or left back. Back then, it was if you're a failed centre back, you go to the.
That's what Gary Neville says. Yeah,
literally,
you're either a failed winger, or you're a failed centre back. Bro, that's Gary Neville. What were you? He says just failed.
Facts, facts. Though, if you were a failed centre back, often, even I remember when I used to grow up, like playing Sunday League, Saturday, whatever.
No one wants to play fullback, bro.
People used to always, honestly, the worst player was at the fullback.
Yeah.
The worst player was at fullback. And I think Ashley Cole was the first one in this country to really kind of not be I wouldn't say failed centre back, but not that kind of standard specialist kind of level. Yeah. He was somebody that just had something different where you could look at him and you thought, could he play higher up? Could he play? maybe he can play in a different position. That's what Ashley Cole was. And I think, I'm not trying to exaggerate and say he revolutionized the position in this country, but I think he had a massive impact in kind of seeing how we see fullbacks a little bit differently.
He made fullbacks cool.
Yes.
He made it cool to be a fullback.
Yes, that's the perfect thing to say. I think he did make fullbacks being cool, because honestly, look back at some of the fullbacks back then. All of them could play centre back.
Of course.
Lee Dixon,
all
of them.
What's his name? Winterburn.
Winterburn.
Gary Neville even played centre back a few times.
Gary Neville grew up as a centre back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say Jamie Carragher as well. He was between right back and centre back for large periods of his career. So when you look at it, I think Ashley Cole was the one that came in and changed it a little bit.
West Brown.
John O'Shea, West Brown. That's what it was all about. That's why it's funny seeing football goes in circles, bro.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny seeing Pep run the Ake,
the
Akanji, and people are saying the game has changed, bro. The people were doing that 30 years ago. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's important that people know that side of the game. But now, honestly, Ashley Cole deserves his props, and I just
100%.
think he's somebody that maybe it's the same way he played his game. Actually, he was quite quiet in the way he did things, went about his things. But I do think it's someone that should be celebrated more, 100%. And I think that leads to how I don't even think he got celebrated.
But before we even talk about that, I want to just finish it off by saying, for me, what I'll never forget about Ashley Cole is the legendary battles against Ronaldo, man. Honestly, and he even came out and he said it recently, because they were asking him what's the difference between playing Messi and Ronaldo, and I think he said Messi, it was basically like the entire team, their training throughout the week was centered on how do we stop Messi as a team. He said when we played Man United, everyone knew Ashley Cole versus Ronaldo. There's nothing to. It's not even a diss. You got Ronaldo. I think that's so beautiful, right? Because we've gone now into like when we talk about Messi, everyone defends now. It's almost like defending is as a unit. Defending is systematic. Defending is okay. You have a sweeper keeper. It's just like you're never really isolated as much as you used to be 1v1 against your men. But those battles between Ashley Cole and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think it's the closest thing that you can even say to NBA. Like me versus you, 1v1, best man wins.
I think it's mad admirable from both of them.
100%.
I think it's mad admirable.
And they had some battles. Let's not act like Ashley Cole only ever locked up Ronaldo. Ronaldo,
he
put him on his he's made him do the splits, bro.
You know what I mean? I love that they both clearly, you could see
there's admiration for them.
You clearly saw Ronaldo wanted to take him on. You clearly see Ashley Cole wanted to defend against him, and that's admirable, because some guys will just be like, all right, I'm going to the left. I'm going.
Winger comes.
Let me drop in the pockets and all this type of stuff. Maybe that's the way Messi played. And I remember when Rio talks about playing against strikers, and he talks about Henry, and everyone always wants him to say that Henry is the hardest he's playing. And he's like, bro, I rarely played against Henry. Henry would drift off to the left. I would just see Henry in the final actions. You know what I mean? I played against Drogba. I played against, those are the guys I played against. So that's probably Messi. Messi, it's hard to say me v you. Messi's gonna drop into here, and the man's gonna pick up there, and Dani Alves is gonna run there.
It's a team defending thing.
And lastly, on Ashley Cole though, right? One thing before I move on to that is, I wonder why he took it so personal against Ronaldo. Because do you know why? Do you know why it's so funny though? Like, because I'd get it if Ronaldo came into the league as Ballon d'Or Ronaldo, and it's like, what, me v you? I'm world class, you're world class. But it's funny how he had this with an 18-year-old Ronaldo.
Look, man. You know for me, I absolutely love it. Man. Seeing a fullback take their defensive assignment that seriously, it's something that we don't see as much in today's modern game. Again, we talk about Kyle Walker against Vinny, Kyle Walker against Neymar, Kyle Walker against Mbappe. Kyle Walker's a great defender in his own right, but a lot of it is still in recovery. You can get by Kyle Walker, and his pace, he's gonna recover 1,000 times. Ashley Cole is dead as get by me. You cannot get by me, bro. It's a wall.
You, bro. He's tackling you. He's collecting the ball off you, and that's so admirable. And one thing I will say here, right, is there's all this talk right now because England are going through, maybe you can say, the second phase of a golden generation in a way. I mean, let's not crown them before they've done anything like we did the other one. But you look at the golden generation, right? You look at Steven Gerrard, you look at Lampard, Rooney. I've always said the defense are the only ones that, for me, can hold their head held high. Because even when England lost, penalties, they did their job. Can you attackers, midfielders, create and score please? You know what I'm trying to say? So I always say the defense is their job, but I look at amongst it, maybe I might be a little harsh to John Terry, but I think Ashley Cole is the one who consistently can say, club and country,
I showed up.
I am Ashley Cole. I am world level. I am an elite player. I don't think Wayne Rooney can say that. Steven Gerrard cannot say that. Frank Lampard cannot say. David Beckham had his ups and downs. Joe Cole, Michael Owen, all of these guys. I think John Terry, I think Rio missed the tournament, so I can't put him in there. John Terry wasn't in the 2002. The actual golden generation from when it started, Ashley Cole's the only one that can say he replicated club and country, and that's a massive, massive compliment for me.
That's true, man. Look, I think all-timer status, unquestionable. And this Hall of Fame inclusion should really be like the capping moment of that career. But I think this kind of goes on to our next bit, Cam, and it's that yet again, a Hall of Fame inductee has kind of happened. Like that cycle has came and went. And a lot of us, or me in particular at least, are kind of left thinking, damn, is that it? Like, really? Is that all we can do for the great players that have graced this league? And look, I obviously coming from an American background, I have an insight into like obviously how the NBA Hall of Fame goes, the NHL, like the US, in my opinion, right? Everyone complains about the Americanization of football, and I get it. There's some things about football that can never be touched by any other kind of culture. But one thing I think they severely missed the mark on, and one thing that Americans in general do better than anybody, is A, put on a show, like host an event, and B, honor their greatest players. I don't think, especially the English, do a good enough job of it. And I think this Hall of Fame thing has completely, for me, fell flat on its face. This was a massive opportunity, in my opinion, for the Premier League to look at the best players that have ever graced what they claim to be the best league in the world and really sign them off one last time in a way that nobody forgets, that truly honors them. Yeah. And I don't think they've done that. Like, look, they've gotten their little plaque. Rio's plaque, it doesn't have it in the studio.
It's in the studio.
Bro, you can go watch the Inside Scoop, bro. It's over there. They give them the plaque. They make them wear a suit. They do a little interview with them, and they get a graphic on Twitter. Yeah. Is that really the best way we can grace the best players to ever play in this league? I think they fell flat on its face.
I think so as well. And I fully agree with that. Like, look, there is sides of football. People might say, listen, that's not even football, bro. It's not on the pitch.
No.
Let's make it as entertaining as possible.
It should be.
Like, when people say, you're talking about Americanization of the sport. Okay, maybe if they're talking about add timeout and stuff on the pitch, I hear it. But this is the other side. This is off the pitch. Make it fun. This is the biggest brand in sport, the Premier League.
Yeah, it is.
This is the biggest brand. Do things like the biggest brand. You see the NFL, you see the NBA, you see the WWE, entertainment stuff. They want to give you guys that feeling. And as you're talking about it, like honoring, like this is honoring at the end of the day, right? Honor these people. Like, get up. Let me see Thierry come up and talk about Ashley. Let me see Robert Pires. Let me see Frank Lampard. You want to see these people come up and really talk about how great this guy was? Because at the end of the day, listen, we live in such negative times, right? Let's give people their flowers while they still can. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why they're doing this Hall of Fame thing. But I'm looking at the list of people that have been in the Hall of Fame. David Beckham, Keane, Cantona, Lampard, Shearer, Vieira, Bergkamp, Gerrard, Henry, Drogba, Kun, Company, Scholes, Wright, Rooney, Schmeichel, Ashley Cole now, Rio Ferdinand, Cech, and Tony Adams. These are all-timers of this league. None of them had a decent ceremony, bro.
No, none. Honestly, I'm telling you, what they get is they get their little plaque. We saw Wenger recreate Sir Alex's pose.
Like Fergie
he's doing cosplay. Fergie did Wenger's. Like, I look at the NBA in particular, because that's my second sport, right? And I've seen grown men break down in tears at their Hall of Fame ceremony because it's supposed to be
the biggest.
Okay,
it's meant to be the proudest moment
100%.
of your career.
Your family is there.
Yes.
Your peers are there. Your competitors are there. Yep. And for one night, they're all honoring you, bro.
And the thing is, as fans, we often we don't humanize players. Let's keep it 100. We dehumanize players. Yeah, people think they're robots. People think they're. These are the nights where you can feel them as a human. Yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You humanize them and you get to really appreciate them. The agendas go out the window. Yeah. They're talking funny moments of their career. They're talking stories that you've never heard. They're saying all these things instead of just sitting in some dark room looking like it's their funeral, by the way. And just talking like
wearing all black.
You're wearing all black at their funeral, talking about it. And the thing is, like, listen, maybe people might say I'm biased because I'm a content creator myself. But even if you are then going to do that, invite all these other things so we can see other sides.
100%.
You've got Ashley Cole there, and it's just the Premier League sitting in some dark room, and then that's it. That's all you get. You don't get other people. It doesn't have to be content creators. It could be It could be Jamie Carragher. It could be Thierry. Whoever. Sit down, have a proper conversation with these guys. Let's get other moments from this. Because now all we've got is the video and picture of Ashley Cole, the 4-minute video and the picture of Ashley Cole, and that's it. Now that's it. On to the next. And we already know the list of the next names. Terry's nominated.
Thing, right? We all there's no real jeopardy when it comes to the Hall of Fame, right? Another thing about what makes the Hall of Fame such an honor in American sports is that I don't want to say not everyone can get in, because to be fair, the NBA, you can have like a great college career and be immediate in the NBA and you can make it. So that's not really what I'm trying to say here. But every year for your respective class, your age group, a bunch of people are nominated to get in, and then you can be re-entered into the next class if you want. But there's no guarantee that you ever make the Hall of Fame. Showing us all the nominations for this year does nothing for us, because Michael Carrick's not going to make it this year. Michael Carrick's going to make it in 4 years? Like, okay,
if Carrick has been getting nominated for like the last 3 of them.
No, he won't make it.
He's just going to each time keep. No, but he's going to make it. But
at that point, it's not even going to mean anything.
That's what I mean. He's going to make it, but I mean, like, it's going to take a long time for him to make it, because there's going to be other legends that are retiring. And look, I'm looking at the list now, so we can even talk about who we think can make it, right?
Yeah.
So I think the first one's done. 2 players will be inducted, and I don't know if that includes Ashley Cole
was the
already.
only one to make it so far.
Okay, so there's Sol Campbell, Michael Carrick, Andrew Cole, Jermaine Defoe, Les Ferdinand, Cesc Fabregas, Eden Hazard, Robbie Fowler, Gary Neville, Michael Owen, David Silva, John Terry, Yaya, Vidic, and Van der Sar. So if you had to do one, if you had to nominate 2,
I mean, look,
we all know they're all going to make it eventually.
Yeah.
And as I said, it would have been nice to see somebody like induct that player, you know, like I want to induct.
Or even seeing like their reaction when they first get the news or something like that.
Exactly. But if you had to do one, if you had to nominate 2 out of this list, who would it be?
I mean, I think the obvious one is John Terry, but I'm sure there's some other stuff that's kind of going on there. But in terms of purely their Premier League career and their legacy, the way he defined that league, the Premier League titles he has as captain as well too, Mr. Chelsea, for me, he should have been inducted a while ago. Yeah. But again, I understand if there's other reasons that the Premier League wants to get into. And then outside of what were the other names that you gave me? Can we quickly go through them?
There's Vidic, Yaya, Van der Sar, David Silva, Gary Neville, Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Hazard, Fabregas, Sol Campbell, Andy Cole, Carrick, and Defoe. Les Ferdinand as well.
Gary Neville would definitely be high up there, but I could understand as well too. Like, is he as great as some of those other players? Like Eden Hazard was the best player in this league at one point. David Silva was a joy to watch in this league.
Yeah, he has the most titles here.
He does. But in terms I don't want to make again. I'm not trying to diss Gary Neville here, but in terms you want to make this a huge honor, and Gary Neville should eventually be in the Hall of Fame. But I wouldn't mind him. I think look, a lot of those guys have a great claim to it, but John Terry definitely, and then outside of that, you can go Gary Neville, Hazard, or David Silva. I think are 3 really deserving. Vidic as well too.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's Yaya Toure. There's Michael Owen as well.
Yeah, it's tough. Honestly,
Fabregas.
It's tough.
Andy Cole. 185 Premier League.
He definitely has a claim for. I think Yaya is probably too early for him. I think Defoe, it's too early for him. That's what I was
gonna say. So would you say they should honor the old players first and do it like that, or do you think it should be
the best of the best?
Like, do you think? I know he didn't win a league, but do you think, let's say, Hazard should be going ahead of Robbie Fowler?
Yeah,
because Robbie Fowler was literally part of the foundations of the league.
I do think he should win it, and again, I think it's because I believe that the Hall of Fame should be the past actually winning the thing, the Premier League, being in the Hall of Fame. It shouldn't be anyone who plays 10 years in this league should be able to get. And now that's all. I'm not trying to say that's all Robbie Fowler did. Great goal scorer, defined this league, but is he greater than some of the other names on this list? Was he a better player than them? Not for me, and I think that should be that should come into play before them.
Yeah. I would go with so basically Hazard. If he was to get in it, that means he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Because that means that first time, boom.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
That should mean something, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I would say, I would go with John Terry.
Like him, when we met Wayne Rooney, the way I introduced him, Premier League Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. I shouldn't be able to just call anybody that, bro.
It's true. No, you're damn right. I would go John Terry,
Yeah.
and I would go with a John Terry, and I might be biased. I'm going with David Silva. Yeah, I'm going with John Terry and David Silva. One, because I think just because Man City players are more new, they're gonna get overlooked. I know Kompany's in there. Well, actually, to be fair, Kompany went in ahead of Rio Ferdinand, which I did not get that. But anyway, Kompany and Aguero. But I think because City's legends are a little bit more modern.
I didn't even know Aguero got nominated.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he got in. That's crazy.
There we go. It's because they're more modern. I think they'll be forgotten. So I'll go John Terry and... No, but how can you not put Gary Neville on there?
Yeah, it's tough not putting Gary Neville in.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Premier League winning captain as well, too. Like, if you're a Premier League winning captain or you're a PFA player of the year...
Mm-hmm. But don't you think like David Silva... The reason why I'm saying David Silva, right? And I don't want to make it a David Silva show, but the reason why I'm saying it is because... Again, but that's the same thing with Eden Hazard. But I feel like he just captures the modern Premier League.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when he came,
the foreign star,
the Prem was changing. Mm-hmm. It was like that's when City started coming and Man United started falling, and it just felt like such a new era. It felt like that whole Barclays that we say, it felt like it was gone now.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just such a new era, and it just felt like David Silva was just different. He was such a different type of Premier League legend. Like the way he played the game, and it was like bringing back Zola in a different way I
mean, I love the Zola show, but I think also the Hall of Fame should be used in a way to kind of like David Silva's memory is kind of fading in the eyes of a lot, and that's crazy to say that because he literally just left the Premier League a few years ago. Like, but his memory is kind of fading amongst a lot of fans.
And I will be there.
This is a great way of reminding people that look, this guy was he was 60 a massive goals, figure in this league, bro.
60 goals, 93 assists, 4 titles. Every single title he had
his fingerprints all over.
He was big in every single 11, 12, 13, 14. I remember the game against Liverpool. Was it Liverpool in 13, 14? They lost that game, but he actually played well. Yeah. 18, 19, and 17, 18. He's the reason why I say that City team's up there the best ever, because I personally think when the City run through David Silva, they're the most enjoyable team ever, probably. Yeah. What? Listen, that's unbiased, but again, like Michael Ballack, we would do a highlight on David Silva. When's his birthday? Hey, BR, when's his birthday? Let's do a David. Hey, if you're David Silva,
Eden Hazard, the day he gets in the Premier League Hall of Fame, I might do the interview. How about that?
But yeah, man, I think I agree with you though. The Hall of Fame needs to be a lot better.
And the thing is, bro, the most annoying bit is it's too late. Like they ruined it now. Or for me, they ruined it. Like it's
you
not
just
like
left off all the goats. Like I've already been inducted.
Yeah, they already got inducted in the worst way possible. Like if we need to like basically tell them, all right, we're gonna have one big ceremony for all of you guys, and then going forward, there has to be a new way of doing this, because this for me,
because they do it for PFA Player of the Year, they'll do it for FWA, London.
No, but even the PFA Premier League Player of the Year. Do you remember when it used to be an actual ceremony and you went up and you spoke in front of the people and like
now they just hold it at their training ground,
bro? They held it at their crib, bro.
Yeah,
I swear De Bruyne held it at his crib, bro.
He did. Oh, see, you're right. But then like I was
remember when they used to literally like host it in front of the players, bro. Yes.
I remember they used to do there was even like recently they did the London Sports Awards, right? London Football Awards or whatever. I think Declan Rice won Player of the Year and Ange won the Manager of the Year or whatever. But that was a proper ceremony, bro. Like people were there, turned up in suits. Maze was even there. Everybody was there. Like, you know what I mean? It was proper. Like Decker's turned up. Odegaard, Saka, everyone turned up. And I'm like, what? You can't do that for the Hall of Fame? You cannot do that for the Hall of Fame.
You're too bougie for the Hall.
The London Football Awards. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like you want it to be a night where it's similar. As I said, it's the biggest brand in the world. You know what I'm trying to say? And if you want to put more respect on this league, I think that's the best way to do it.
But guys, this has been really our take and our reaction to Ashley Cole making the Hall of Fame. Our thoughts on the award in general.
Who should make the next one, man? The list.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section down below. Should it be JT? Is it time that he gets his flowers, or is there someone that we haven't spoken about that deserves to as well? As well as that, obviously, like, share, subscribe.
I've got a question before we finish.
You love doing this.
Yes, I always do this.
Go ahead.
Who currently, right now, so we just saw Hazard, and did you say you'll put Hazard now?
Yeah.
So your Hazard will make yours.
Give me Hazard.
So that'll be your first. He'll be a first
ballot. First ballot Hall of Fame.
So who right now, if you had to say right now
in the current league
has to go first ballot.
Salah and De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Easily Salah and De Bruyne.
So if everyone retired right now, this league ended and said there's a Hall of Fame from this crop.
From this current
It'll
crop
be
of players
Salah-
currently playing,
It'll be just
it's
Salah.
Salah and De Bruyne. Bro, 100%.
Obviously, you got and Harry Kane. Obviously, he's left, but I'm talking about like you know what I mean.
Still, it's Salah and
Yeah.
De Bruyne for me.
Salah
Because
and De Bruyne.
you look at when the Premier League when they got the new logo, like that circular one with like the
Yeah.
lion, I think it was what, 17, 18 or 16, 17 onwards. That's when De Bruyne stepped in. De Bruyne stepped in the league that year. Or no, he stepped in the year before. Salah stepped into it the next year. Since then, they've defined the league. It's them. It's been Salah and De Bruyne's league. So for me, it would be those two.
Yeah, Van Dijk,
No, it'd be Salah and De Bruyne.
Salah and De Bruyne.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree.
yeah. They're the faces of the league.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. All right, cool. That's
Can I do my outro now? You love doing that.
You can do it now.
Like, share,
Oh
subscribe.
yeah, no, but I'm joking. Go on.
Like, share, subscribe. All the support has been massive. As always, shout out to Bleacher Report for helping us with this, powering it. As always, go check out all their stuff on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You guys are probably already following them. But if you're not, go do that. But as always, it's been my boy CultureCams. It's been myself, Lyés. And I'll see you next time. Peace.